Good evening and welcome to Lawrence Tech Athletic Field for today's conference matchup between the Wolverines of University of Michigan Dearborn and your Lawrence Tech Blue Devils. The Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference in partnership with the NAIA's Champion of Character Initiative take great pride in the conduct of all the student athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators. We encourage the cheering of your teams during today's event, but with the spirit of good sportsmanship kept in mind. The Wolverines of the University of Michigan Dearborn, located in Dearborn, Michigan, come into today's game with a record of 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 tie. And here are their starters. Number 0, Jordan Anhauser. Number 5, Marley Kuzner. Number 6, Kirsten Barrett. Number 9, Valeria Kazi Leon. Number 10, Jenna Rogers. Number 12, Nicole Rosick. Number 13, Heidi Newman. Number 18, Margaret Miller. Number 19, Brianna Pfeiffer. Number 20, Madison Day. And number 28, Claire Slamcott. The coach of the Wolverines in her second year is Daniel Dow. The Blue Devils come into today's matchup with a record of 3 wins and 4 losses and 1 tie. And here are their starters. Number 1, Rebecca Almendoz. Number 6, Randy Jeanette. Number 8, Laura Silverman. Number 11, Madison Bologna. Number 13, Lauren Waziak. Number 14, Elaine Nyborn. Number 15, Marie Ann Torres Lopez. Number 18, Caitlin Mather. Number 19, Delaney Chalker. Number 20, Marika Hoffman. And number 22, Alexis Barnes. The Blue Devils are under the leadership of Andy Richards in his 3rd season. His assistants are Doug Steiner, Shannon Coley, John Cady, and student assistant Jordan Reinhardt. At this time, please rise for the playing of the national anthem.
Welcome into our 7th women's soccer broadcast of the season, a Wednesday, September 26th evening. It is a pleasure to once again be with you, everyone. I'm Jason Ross Jr. alongside Chase Kaufman tonight from the LTU Athletic Field. A massive chance for the Blue Devils, a under 30-year man, Andy Richards tonight in search of a much-needed win. Second match of conference play. The Blue Devils are 3-4-1, hoping to bounce back at home from that recent loss against Madonna. Once again, the Blue Devils back at home, coming off a loss to Madonna and going up against a Michigan Dearborn team that is arguably the most compelling, arguably the most fun storyline around the WAC right now, coming off their first ever win in program history and their first ever conference win in program history. They were 0-12 a season ago. It was the 80th minute winner from the junior Jenna Rogers last time out, and they are experiencing a feeling that is new to most on the team. The Blue Devils are still favored tonight. Can they capitalize and claim their first WAC victory on this home field tonight? Getting underway in the midfield, Madison Bologna, and now back come the Wolverines. Rebecca Almondo's in the net tonight for the Blue Devils. On the other side, it will be Jordan Anhuser, the sophomore from Canton, for the Wolverines. Chase, you spoke to head coach Danielle Dow, who's in her second season with the Wolverines, before the match about that historical win that gave them that first victory in program history.
I sure did, Jason, and she was excited to get this game underway. Once they won that last game, I talked to her about how awesome that felt. She said it was awesome because they've been working so hard, this past season and even the season before it, that all this hard work has paid off to finally get that first win against Lourdes last week. I also asked her about what formation she'd be in today, and she didn't want to give away any information for this game and future games. She said it might be a little bit easy to figure it out once the game gets a long way, but she didn't want to give any advantage to her opponents tonight.
We typically see the Blue Devils in a 3-5-2 look under head coach Andy Richards. That was such a monumental win for this Michigan Dearborn program, and you wonder what kind of energy they'll play with tonight. A program that struggled in their inaugural season, went 0-12, but a team that you certainly can't overlook coming in. The Blue Devils will be favored tonight. Can they claim their first win since August 31st? That was on this home field against Roosevelt under the lights.
Yeah, and you can't forget about the momentum that U of M Dearborn's got coming in today's game. Momentum's everything in any sport, and right now U of M Dearborn definitely has that momentum over Lawrence Tech.
All of a sudden, our first corner of the evening, Kirsten Burke, the sophomore from Dearborn, decided to stay home, and she'll deliver in. The header is well wide. Rebecca Almondo's is net, and now the Blue Devils look to build up from the back.
Yeah, we spoke about Lourdes' first win of the program. That was against Lourdes last week, where they won 2-1, capped off by Jenna Rogers' goal in the 81st minute. And from there, she was also assisted from Nicole Lozak, who ended up earning U of M Dearborn's Player of the Week with that assist. That was on Saturday.
Lozak and Rogers, certainly two players to look out for this evening on the Wolverine side. This Blue Devil back line was tested last time out against the dynamic forwards of Madonna. Leading the way was Nicolette Voltaggio. She had a goal late in that one. Sierra Nissan scored in the 16th minute to put the Blue Devils down early. Blue Devils had a clean sheet against Olivet on this field a couple of matches ago. Lawrence Tech is in the midst of a 3-game homestand, wrapping that up with Michigan Dearborn tonight as May Torres delivers in. The senior, one of 3 seniors on this LTU roster. She'll certainly need to play that leadership role down the stretch. She does certainly play that leadership role. A passionate player out there on the field, and Blue Devils are methodically moving it ahead now. chasing after Laura Silverman, the transfer from the University of Detroit Mercy. Lauren Wozniak, one of the threats on this Blue Devil team, scored the last goal for the Blue Devils. That is the only goal for this Blue Devil team since August 31st. And that will produce the first corner opportunity for Lawrence Tech. It'll be, looks like Elaine Nybor, the typical architect on these set pieces. See if she can do something here with it. Bologna. Nybor. Delivery into the area. Able to get out there to claim that sailing ball was Jordan Anhuser, the Saginaw Valley State University transfer. And now she'll calmly look things over and dispatch of the soccer ball into the midfield area.
Yeah, and we know Lawrence Tech definitely wants to get a win here today because their next two games aren't any easier. They got Concordia coming up on the 29th and Aquinas coming up on October 3rd. And Concordia went 5-5 in the WAC last season and 14-10 overall, where Aquinas went a still respectable 4-6 and a 7-9-1 overall. Both are already 1-0 in the conference thus far this year.
Both of those matches on the road certainly will be tough as Caitlin Mather gallops down here with a spirit of adventure, trying to move her way in. And sealed off at the last moment by that Wolverine back line. Doing a nice job there was Heidi Newman, a sophomore. This is a sophomore and freshman loaded team for Michigan Dearborn, inherently based off the fact that this is only their second year as a program. A couple of transfers, but for the most part, a freshman and sophomore laden team. Once again, it's a pleasure to have you with us tonight on the LTU Athletics YouTube channel and the LTU Athletics Facebook channel. I'm Jason Ross Jr. alongside Chase Kaufman, our 7th women's soccer broadcast. Still 3 more to go here on LTSN. Our next broadcast will be October 6th when Cleary comes to town. WAC play continuing. Blue Devils, as Chase referenced, will head out on the road for a couple of tough matches after this one. A much-needed win tonight, looking to boost some energy into this team. Here's Erica Hoffman. Now Laura Silverman. Mather trying to slip behind. Can she do so? Mather high. May Torres back to Randy Jeanette. Out there with Erica Hoffman and Alexis Barnes. Jeanette made a bit of a run there. They'll play it back into the midfield. And now Elaine Nybor. Can she settle this down?
For as much as Lawrence Tech has had possession thus far, you know they want to get some more shots in. Just one for as long as they've had the ball, and that's been close to probably 8 minutes on the time of possession clock. And just one corner, one shot to show thus far.
Felt like the opening couple of minutes, Michigan Dearborn settled in, but since then, as you said, Chase, the Blue Devils taking over possession nicely. And
for sure, sometimes it's just best to get the feel for an opponent first before you try to do anything too aggressive, and that looks like what their game plan is here tonight.
Yep. Delaney Chalker, the freshman in the vicinity over there, making her second career start. One of 9 freshmen on this LTU roster. Plenty of newcomers, a few transfers in the mix as well. This team said that through the first 3 games or so, they were trying to get the kinks out, get their chemistry down. They feel as though they know each other's strengths and weaknesses down now, so it seems like it's just a matter of finding a way to put it all together and finish off games and put one in the back of the net. They did quite well through those first few games, starting the season off 3-1. But as Andy Richards said, the competition has gone up. And here's Jenna Rogers, the threat. We'll probably have to call her name quite a bit tonight if this Michigan Dearborn team is going to have success. Torres does a splendid job there to dispossess Rogers. Now up ahead to Wozniak. Here's Mather. Time to turn and look. Finds Bologna. Streaking down, Wozniak along with Chalker. Unable to find that last gear to get ahead of that last line of defense. But a really nice effort there from Chalker. And that'll produce the throw in here.
Yeah, Jason, you were talking about Jenna Rogers on U of M Dearborn. She's definitely the star of this team. Leads the team with 3 goals, 12 shots, and 6 on goals. And that's about double what anybody else on the team has. So she's going to be definitely a threat tonight.
Rogers scored both goals in a 2-2 tie against St. Francis earlier this season. She is certainly a threat to look out for. It's a Wolverine team that began the season with a 4-0 loss to Grace College. They're off to a much better start, competing much more than they did a season ago.
And it even started right after that 4-0 loss game. They played against St. Francis, where they ended up in a tie after 2 overtime periods, which was the first tie of their program as well. LTU won this season matchup last year at a score of 3-0. Still a respectable score for an 0-12 team against a solid Lawrence Tech season last year.
Nybor's crosser, it was a nice one. Punched out, though, there by Anhuser, and Barnes in the area, along with Jeanette up there, and the Blue Devils look to hold possession here, unable to get it out. We're the Wolverines, but now back to the midfield it goes, as far as Jeanette. Down that left-hand side, a nice effort from Kirsten Burek to clear any kind of danger that was progressing there. Torres' pass was intended for Marley Kuzner there. Torres off to an excellent start. Torres started 14 matches in each of her first 3 seasons. Toronto Justice Soccer Club from Mississauga, Ontario, in her senior season. And off to a nice start on this wonderful evening. The day started out a rather gloomy morning, but it has turned into a 66-degree day. This women's soccer team finally avoiding the heat that they have been forced to play in on this home field in particular.
Just how all athletes like it. Not too hot, not too cold. Perfect weather for soccer. Might notice number 22, Alexis Barnes, on the field. She was the only one returning from last year's team that scored in the game last year against U of M Dearborn in the match where LTU won 3-0.
You wonder who that goal scorer will be today for Lawrence Tech. Unable to put anything on the board last time out against Madonna. It's been a struggle to score over the past month. Can they find a resurgence tonight under the lights at home in front of the Blue Devil faithful?
And thus far they've shown why. 15 minutes into the game, time of possession still been on their side. However, just 1 shot in 1 corner still.
Lower Silverman unable to settle that ball down, hopped up. Barnes delivers back in. Wozniak was in the vicinity along with Mather, the 2 forwards. Brenna Pfeiffer. And we have a Blue Devil down there. Can't quite make out who it is, but it appears as though it is Delaney Chalker, the freshman. And that'll bring out the training staff. For a moment here, Chalker is fortunately up on her feet.
Yeah, it looked like she just took one in the nose.
We saw Lindsay Shootback go down in the final minutes against Madonna. Certainly not a piece that this Blue Devil team can lose at this point in the season. Obviously, she hasn't started this one, so her status is still to be determined. Plays a prominent role on this Blue Devil women's soccer team, and Delaney Chalker, her role has risen over the past few games. Getting checked on here. And we'll go to a quick break with the clock stopped. 29:36 remaining here in this opening half. No score yet from the LTU athletic field here on LTSN. Welcome back to LTSN. Turning up the field here, Lauren Wozniak, a momentary pause, and then the pass up to Torres. Mather. About half an hour to play here in the opening half. Lauren Wozniak and the Blue Devils hoping to strike first. Nybor unable to fight her way through there and cleared of any danger by Claire Slomka, the junior from Middletown, Ohio, the transfer from Cincinnati State Technical Community College. Was named most valuable defensive player in her high school days. We'll see if she can make an impact like that this afternoon.
And we were talking about their first ever program win against Lourdes on Saturday. And that scene, I didn't get a chance to catch the game, but what they're doing here looks like that's probably what they did against Lourdes. They were outshot on goal 7-5. They were outshot 19-10 overall.
Here's Nybor moving her way in, the header! And there it is. 1-0 Blue Devils.
Yeah, and you saw that one coming. When the ball's in the box for that long, you know something's got to happen. And it was just a matter of time before the ball got in the box one more time before Lawrence Tech finally got that first goal.
Perhaps the energy boost that they need. Lawrence Tech strikes first in front of the home crowd. And to the delights of the home crowd, their first goal in conference play on the season. It was Lauren Wozniak. Once again, it's Wozniak. She was the last goal scorer for LTU a couple of matches ago against Olivet. The assists will come from Elaine Nybor. And now the Blue Devils looking to ride this momentum. Here's Caitlin Mather. Wozniak once again. That time cleared away by Heidi Newman.
That'll make 3 assists on the season now for Elaine. 4 points on the season. Then you got Lauren Wozniak with her 3rd goal of the season. She now leads the team.
Four goals a season ago for Wozniak, on pace to hit that mark again and possibly. As the free kick is set to be delivered here once again. Under half an hour to play, and the Blue Devils up 1-0. Under the lights, a big start to this one. A start that they needed. And that one just whistles wide from Nybor. The Blue Devils
put in the work with the assist last time. Now she wanted the goal.
Yeah.
Wanted one of each this time.
Starting to gain commands, beginning to gain control on their home turf. Feeling that they have waited a while for. They tied Olivet. That final match of non-conference play. Things unraveled on this field last Friday night in the final few minutes. Wozniak delivered a very accurate headered pass to Alexis Barnes with about 14 minutes to play, down 1-0. It was set up a very promising chance to tie it. Very accurate pass to Barnes, but just could not quite get past what was a very poised and composed Julia Stewart in the goal on that night for Madonna. But that time, Wozniak finishes it on her own, and here she is once more. Firing away, and she finds Barnes. Nybor also up, edge of the box. The header, and that goes wide from Chalker.
Starting to see Lawrence Tech really settle in here tonight after having the time of possession for a good 12 out of the first 15 minutes with just one shot on goal. But now that they got that first goal, they seem like they know what they're doing.
They spoke earlier in the season about settling down balls in the air and trying to gain control of those long balls, and it appears as though they've done that, and they've done that at the right times on this evening. Players are making nice runs, sprinting to get those 2 or 3 yards of extra space. Wozniak is really buzzing around now. Here she is once more. That time taken down, no call. And back comes Marley Kuzner, only to meet the defense of Madison Bologna. Very passionate player. The freshman. Bologna making her 8th start of the season.
See a few of them. Dearborn get something going here. They had one shot early in the game.
Nybor that time making the play defensively. Open spaces here for Lawrence Tech. Can Wozniak settle this ball down? She was outnumbered that time by a Michigan Dearborn team that got back in numbers. It was a nice job to hustle back by the Wolverines. Here is Wozniak though. Dispossessed. Now tries to win it back and does. What a battle there. Not giving up on the play. And now the delivery will come from Elaine Nybor once again. As we approach the final 20 minutes of this first half, here's the delivery, and side of the net that time, flying in. Appeared to be Wozniak. It was Chalker down there, making an attempt at it. Nicole Losick, the sophomore from Woodhaven. Almondo's ready and composed.
Talked about Lozic earlier in the game. She had the assist that led to the winning goal against Lords. She ended up earning U of M Dearborn's College Player of the Week from that goal.
Moving down here with momentum, Caitlin Mather. Chalker. What a counterattack that time. Quickly back the other way. Lawrence Tech pushing it. Bologna. Wozniak. Hoping for her second, has aspirations for number 2.
Lawrence Tech now with 5 shots. And for as much time as they've had with the ball, you got to think that 1 goal is not all they're going to score.
How much longer can this Wolverine team kind of sit back and try to stay compact without giving up that second goal? Against Madonna, it felt as though Lawrence Tech needed 2 goals to win that one, and they certainly did. And obviously weren't able to put up those goals, but it's been an inspired effort through the first 25 minutes. Silverman on the delivery that time. Laura spoke about the challenge of going up against the dynamic forwards of Madonna with our LTSN crew after that match. Laura has appeared to step up as one of the leaders in one of the more prominent roles on this team in only her first year with the Blue Devils, the sophomore transfer from Detroit Mercy, who she was actually on a Detroit Mercy team that beat LTU a season ago. The giveaway there, though, that time. And Jenna Rogers streaking down the field. This will test Erica Hoffman and Rebecca Almondo's. Didn't have any numbers back, and Almondo's able to make an easy save.
That's going to be Michigan's first shot on goal. After finally getting a steal there was only 1 defender behind, which allowed Jenna to have that breakaway, but just couldn't put it away.
St. Catherine alum, Jenna Rogers, leading this Michigan Dearborn team in goals on the season. Time for Elaine Nybor to look up. Nybor once again. Had Wozniak moving into the area, would have been offsides. Torres. She's flowing all the way up the field. Back with it again, Torres. Nybor able to get a nice, efficient, quick touch over to Laura Silverman. Stripped and back it goes to the midfield for Erica Hoffman. That back 3 of Torres, Hoffman, and Jeanette trying to hold strong. They have thus far. Now the Blue Devils moving up again with Nybor. Open spaces with a couple of runners. Chalker and Mather were there, but unable to produce anything with under 19 to play now here in this opening half. A 1-0 lead for the Blue Devils off the header from Wozniak. Her 3rd goal of the season is the difference right now as Chalker heads out. Appears as though Sarah Trapp has made her way in. And here's the corner. The delivery. There's a chance and a sprawling save made by Anhuser. Monica Scam-Murka also in on the Wolverine side of things, as this evening begins to turn into night as we approach the latter part of this opening half.
That's one of those things you dream of as a kid, playing under the lights in college And hopefully someday even farther than that.
This newly renovated field, part of the expanding and growing LTU athletic program. Temporary seating for 2,000 installed here. It's been a big part of the growth that has come to LTU athletics this year.
For sure. Looks great so far. Just imagine when they get all that new seating in.
Cannot wait.
It's just 2 years ago when I was a freshman here, and it was just a field. There was no scoreboard, no football goalposts, obviously, one set of bleachers. Now they got in lights. They got a beautiful turf. Just looks great.
Really felt like a momentous occasion when that first Under the Lights match happened the night before the first ever football game here on the LTU Athletics campus. And now it's Mather once again streaking in. There's another opportunity and another goal. Celebration ensues, and rightfully so.
And you knew that was about to come. The ball was just in the box way too often against U of M Dearborn for them not to allow another goal so far this half.
Torres delivers. Mather finishes. Mather's third of the year. The freshman that got off to a hot start this year, sophomore rather, and she has picked it up tonight. A 2-0 lead now for the Blue Devils.
And you know for sure that's not all they want this game. After only scoring one goal in September so far, they want to put this away early.
They've really come out flying now. Their most goals since a 2-0 victory on August 25th over Shawnee State. This is the most goals that they've put on the board on this home field, though, this season. That Shawnee State match was at the temporary Southfield A&T field.
And that was Maria and Torres' first assist of the season. Not going to have that chance too often as a defender, but she took advantage of it for sure.
Torres has been all over the place tonight, and she gets the reward for it. This is a Blue Devil team. It feels as though they are really good at putting losses behind. They come out and fight hard every single match, no matter the result. And I believe that has come to fruition tonight. Up 2-0 in this first half. They came out of the gates with energy and a couple of goals from Wozniak and Mather.
Looks like a bit of arguing there with the ref. Not sure for what. But nonetheless, LTU is going to grab the free kick.
Head coach Andy Richards spoke about how early on in the season the team was free-flowing and scoring goals and getting a lot of shots on target, but you know, he went on to say that the standard of the opposition has changed, obviously, with this WAC season getting underway. A couple of tough non-conference matches going to Spring Arbor, Rio Grande, among those names. And now looking to capitalize once more. And Hughes are able to get down and make the save there. This Blue Devil team has looked like that team that was free-flowing earlier in the season.
You got to give credit to University of Michigan Dearborn's keeper, Jordan Anhuser. For as much as that ball's been in the box, allowing 2 goals probably isn't the worst thing that could have happened thus far.
Does feel as though there could be possibly a couple more up on the board.
For sure.
If it weren't for Anhuser at the moment. This is Pfeiffer.
Lawrence Tech now with 7 shots, 3 of them on goal in 3 corners. And they have 2 goals to show for it.
Trap. Becca Almondo is making her 7th start of the season for Lawrence Tech tonight. Crosser whipped into the box that time. Sydney McClay, the only white jersey in the vicinity.
And you talked about Almondos, and it appears that she went to Trinidad and Tobago, and she was on their U20 national team. Jason, I don't know if you saw the game, but Trinidad and Tobago actually took out the U.S. out of World Cup contention back last September. I was pretty bummed about it.
That was certainly a disappointing loss for our country in general.
I remember before that game, they were, I believe, in like a 98% chance to advance to the World Cup in that game, along with 2 other losses from Mexico and someone else, I believe, took them out of it. Never even got a chance to perform out in Russia. Now they got something going here.
Crosser whipped in. And a nice job from LTU to hold their ground. Silverman able to dispossess her opposition. Now back to the way. Flying are the Blue Devils. With open spaces, Sydney McClay hoping to catch up here.
That was all set up by a non-call. Looks like Dearborn wanted a foul there a little bit before midfield, but to no avail. You do have a substitution for U of M Dearborn. Hannah Loveday is coming in for Kirsten Burek. Looks like the clock stopped. Not sure what's going on.
Appears as though the clock has stopped. A bit of confusion after that last substitution. Clock currently stopped at 11:06. Chase, you mentioned that World Cup that was such a good one over this past summer, capped off by France's victory, and
oh yeah,
it runs such as watching England and Harry Kane try to get through that. There's such a surprise, and it was a fun summer if you were a soccer fan,
for sure, or just a World Cup fan in general. The competition on the World Cup is like no other.
Oh yes,
and because the U.S. was out, I had to pick a team to root for, and I actually chose France, believe it or not. Watched every game except for the ones that were on 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning because of the time difference. Still worth it, though.
The scenes and the celebrations around those countries are incredible. I'll have to say if there were one team that I kind of jumped on, it would probably be England. I'll have to admit I jumped on that bandwagon a bit. This will be another corner. Blue Devils already up 2-0. Trapp tried to do something with it. 4th corner of the first half for Lawrence Tech. As nightfall has fully descended now. And the Blue Devils in control under 30-year man Andy Richards.
Lawrence Tech now with 4 corners. 2 Michigan's 1. Michigan with 5 fouls now in the game. Lawrence Tech just 1.
And this will be another. After there was a bit of an opportunity there for Sarah Trapp. Here's the delivery from Nybor.
Nice save.
Header from Silverman. Smith. Mather! And Wozniak was there. Had eyes and visions of gold in search of what could have been her second. Silverman, she's done such a nice job of battling in that midfield, winning balls, really playing with passion. Randy Jeanette up ahead. Wozniak streaking down the right-hand side.
Little under 9 minutes to go here in the first half. You got to think Lawrence Tech wants another goal, give them some extra momentum.
Sarah Trapp. Fans on the edge of their seat now, just waiting for another one. They've been a bit spoiled tonight. Lawrence Tech had 2 in the first half in their opener against Huntington. They went on to win that one by a score of 3-1. That was back on August 22nd. But once again, the most goals that they've been able to put up on this home field in front of the home supporters.
Spoke about that first game against Huntington. With a win 3-1, they were 3-1 as a record in August, and ever since, just one win here in September. Or I'm sorry, no wins here in September, but they're looking to change that one tonight for sure. They want this game, they want this streak to come to an end.
Nyborg. Sarah Trapp. High lofting ball, edge of the area. Unable to settle that one down, but back it goes to Angie Dimopoulos. Dimopoulos, the sophomore from Garden City. Consistent role off the bench. Sydney McClay. Julia James down there as well. Nyborg powers one right at Ann Huser. The second chance from Trapp sails wide right. 6.5 to play in the opening half before the breather. It's a pleasure to have you here on LTSN. Jason Ross Jr. alongside Chase Kaufman. Our 7th of 10 women's soccer broadcasts as we see Ayanna Reed check in. Blue Devils showing off their depth right now. Substitutions over these past few minutes.
To the game for your Blue Devils, number 21, Ayanna Reed.
All these conference games leading up to the WAC tournament, which is going to start on Halloween, October 31st. Top 8 teams from the WAC get into the tournament. Lawrence Tech qualified in the 8th seed last year, ended up losing a hard-fought 3-1 game against UNOH, the 1 seed, a nationally ranked team. And I'm sure they'd love to get right back to that.
They'll hope to avenge that first-round loss this year. Aspirations to go much deeper in postseason play. Andy Richards spoke about the importance of these very games against the likes of Michigan Dearborn, going up against your conference opponents and winning these conference games. Said that, you know, the non-conference stuff is all good, but this is truly what matters now. Here they are flying once more. Trapp tried to scoot her way around. Monica Skamika, the freshman from New Boston, held her ground with under 5 to play here in the opening half.
We just spoke about UNOH They're already leading the WAC with a record of 2-0. Now ranked 13th in that NAIA. Solid team. Ranked 3rd last season at the end of the year before going down to against Siena Heights in that championship game in the WAC.
Ayanna Reed with a nice smooth pass to Sydney McClay. Couldn't quite catch up to it there. You think UNOH, another one of those consistent forces in the WAC. Madonna having another good year. The men's team for LTU also lost to Madonna over the weekend. They are always a tall task. Here's another corner set to be delivered. This will be the 5th corner.
No header, no chance. Easy save there.
Erica Hoffman's back pass to May Torres, who has the assist on the 2nd goal.
A little over 3 minutes to play. You know, Michigan wants to get on that board, give themselves a little momentum heading into the second half. And after the win last game, they know anything's possible now.
Brianna Pfeiffer turns back, and more open space for Lawrence Tech through the middle. Up ahead, Sydney McClay. That pass to no avail. Michigan Dearborn team certainly is one of the cooler storylines in the WAC, coming off their first win in program history. Obviously their biggest storyline in program history after going 0-12 a season ago under head coach Daniel Dow, trying to build this program. Similar to LTU, Michigan Dearborn is in the process of making very positive expansions to their athletic department. Women's ice hockey and women's golf are set to become varsity sports next season for the Wolverines. Michigan Dearborn was 0-7 last season going into the meeting that Chase mentioned, that LTU won by a score of 3-0. Wolverines come in at 1-2-1, 1-0 in WAC play this year. Blue Devils in search of their first WAC victory of the season. As we approach the final 90 seconds now of this opening half.
Lawrence Tech now leads the shot battle by 9-3. Shots on goal, they lead 5-2. We'll see if they get another chance here as the clock winds down.
Julia James. Demopoulos did well to track it down and get it back to Sydney Everett. Blue Devils keep possession. Blue Devils were able to manufacture a dream ending to the first half a couple of matches ago against Olivet on a Lauren Wozniak goal. It's been Lauren Wozniak again tonight, very active, and one of the 2 goal scorers for LTU. Julia James checked in for Wozniak. What's been a fun night here at the LTU Athletic Field to this point, at least for the Blue Devils supporters.
10, 9.
Maria and Torres playing a hard-fought game thus far. Seems like every time the ball's hit, it's by her.
Our fellow media comm major really performing out there tonight.
That's right. Got to represent.
Yep. Well, this Blue Devil faithful will be happy with the opening half. Andy Richards will be happy with the opening half they'll look to capitalize and finish things off after this break. Blue Devils up 2-0 after the first 45 here on LTSN.
Now coming to the field, your Lawrence Tech dance team.
Give it to me.
Give it up one more time for your Lawrence Tech dance team. is up 2 games to nothing.
Welcome back into LTSN. First half goals from Lauren Wozniak and Caitlin Mather have put us at a 2-0 stand with the Blue Devils ahead on their home field. It was a dream start. So glad to have you back here. I'm Jason Ross Jr. alongside Chase Kaufman. Blue Devils looking to continue this momentum into the second half. They're really flying up and down the field, putting pressure on the Michigan Dearborn back line, really testing the defenders for Michigan Dearborn in that first half.
And you know they don't just want that momentum here in the second half. They want this momentum all the way to October. They've had a rough September, so any score here that ends in a shutout is definitely going to be a momentum changer.
We spoke about this team's ability to forget losses and move ahead and keep competing. Perhaps a new start and a new life leased on this season if they can continue what was an excellent first half. Find themselves defending here.
We also just got an update from Jay Nichols that volleyball up 2-0 at Madonna.
Big conference match for the volleyball team, and after a rough weekend, that could be huge coming back home on Friday and Saturday. Marley Kuzner into the box. Almondo's out loose momentarily, but cleared away from danger that time. Now Monica Scamira.
Even though the sun's gone down, it's still 60 degrees outside. Great night for some soccer.
Feels like fall as we get deeper into the soccer season, deeper into the football season, deeper into volleyball season. Fall ball getting underway with the baseball team. Chase, you had a chance to watch that team last weekend.
Oh, yeah, that was great. I did play-by-play for them. They won the first 2 games on Saturday, both in great fashion. The first game by walk-off, second game with a 7-run inning in the 5th inning, I believe. Then they ended up taking the next 2 on Sunday to wrap up a 4-game sweep. That was against Roosevelt University.
Around the world of Lawrence Tech sports, the Lawrence Tech men's soccer team also going up against Michigan Dearborn tonight, and they're up 5-0 with 39 minutes left in the second half. Almost about 2 minutes away from being synchronized with our game, and both teams in control. That men's team really out playing well, up 5-0. Well, they're looking to get back to 500 as well.
For more LTU stats, you can go to LTUathletics.com. Check out all of our Lawrence Tech teams there. Here comes Lawrence Tech trying to make it 3-0.
Delaney Chalker, the freshman. Nybor was moving in. Laura Silverman over there. She spoke about how this Blue Devil team should approach every game like it's their last. And they have come out with a fire on this night, this September 26th night. Mather, one of 2 goal scorers for the Blue Devils in the first half. The sophomore
Caitlin Mather now with 3 goals on the season. Lauren Wozniak also achieved her 3rd goal of the season. Sydney Everett. Madison Bologna. Elaine Nybor, she's played an integral role on this night.
Gonna have another corner here for LTU. They're 6th on the day. However, neither of the 2 goals came off a corner.
Andy Richards in the beginning of the season spoke about improving on those set pieces as Erica Hoffman keeps things alive here. The Blue Devils taken down, and the Blue Devils will take possession back here off the foul. Torres, who had such a nice first half, one to look back on for May Torres. Madison Smith did well to advance up to Chalker there.
Spoke earlier about it early in the first half. Florence Tech's going to take on Concordia this Saturday. The team they lost to last year 2-0. So any momentum they can get out of this game is surely going to help as they head into October play.
This was definitely a massive chance coming in. From an outsider looking in, you know, you came in thinking they had to capitalize on this.
For sure.
And now here's Nybor. Silverman. Nybor! The junior from Grandville. Had quite the impressive freshman campaign a couple of years ago with 8 goals and 4. Had 4 as a sophomore and now a junior. Very composed and reliable on the ball. That's why we call her name so often. Nicole Losick for the Wolverines, trying to create something. Couldn't engineer what they desired on that attempt down the field.
They're definitely trying to get it to their star, Jenna Rogers, team leader in goals.
Rogers responsible for 3 of the 4 Michigan Dearborn goals that have been scored this season. They'll have their second chance at a corner here. Blue Devils defending edge of the 6-yard box. That header popped up that time by Claire Slomka, the junior from Middletown, Ohio.
Lawrence Tech will now have a goal kick. It's one of their very few of the day.
Almondo's with intentions for Silverman there. Silverman's back pass to Torres. Torres now finds herself under pressure. And the Wolverines did well that time.
Again, Torres knocks it out. Seems like that's all she's been doing all day, doing her job. And then was rewarded with an assist on the Blue Devils' second goal of the game.
Blue Devils have closed off any kind of space that Michigan Dearborn has tried to seek out tonight. Closing quickly, keeping the forwards marked. They've really adjusted to where the ball is as a unit. Now Silverman able to dispossess Monica Scamira. And now here is Silverman after the brilliant play, trying to lead ahead Chalker that time, who made a run down the right-hand side. Looking at counterattack now are the Wolverines, pushing it back to the midfield, able to turn with it. Here is Nicole Losick. Plays it up ahead to Marley Kuzner, the freshman from Grand Rapids. And Almondo's, once again, calm, composed, easy save. Unable to produce any kind of a real threat on that counterattack.
We were talking about defending. That's one of the key things, just mirroring that ball. And that's all you really want to do as a defender. Don't let that ball get past you. And then you do that, and you're on a collegiate team.
Randy Jeanette will come back in here for the Blue Devils. The junior. Plays with such a passion for the game. As things get a bit congested there. And now back come the Wolverines with Jenna Rogers. Down went Smith, who used her speed so well there. Smith ran track in high school, and the speed has certainly translated over to the soccer field. Played quite a few minutes off the bench versus Madonna. And once again making an impact under the lights tonight. Nybor. Caitlin Mather. Delaney Chalker down with her. Smith approaching. Tried to settle it down.
Just missed the cross. Dearborn's going to have a throw, and they're really eating into that time of possession, something they couldn't do incredibly well in the first half. But now they're starting to get the hang of it. But you never know. Lawrence Tech might just be getting the feel for Dearborn as they did early in that first half. So we get a substitution here.
Alexis Barnes will make her way back in for Madison Smith.
Into the game for your Blue Devils, number 22, Alexis Barnes.
Schalker did well to settle it down. Was able to skip a pass over the foot of Nicole Losick, who was defending for Michigan Dearborn. And now Laura Silverman back over to Alexis Barnes. Right off the bench and with a boost of energy. Flags are up. Everett couldn't quite get control of that ball that was heading through the midfield, but Losick went down as well. Could have perhaps been a chance for Nicole Losick there. One of those small moments in a game that you look back on and say, what if it went the other way? Something you can really say from sport to sport, depending on how you look at it. Be a tough play to look back on when you take a look at the film for Michigan Dearborn this next week.
Another great save there from Anhauser. Don't let that 2-0 score fool you. She's been pretty great all day for as many times the ball's been in her box. which Dearborn has been limiting thus far here in the second half pretty well.
Anhuser making another start tonight for the Wolverines, such an athletic goalie, and that was certainly on display there. Silverman will stay patient and go on back to Everett. Now Bologna ran into Losick. Silverman back on it. Losick doing nice work. Nybor able to pick it out of the fray and play it back to Bologna. Randy Jeanette off the bench in this second half. Elaine Nybor navigating and scanning. A blast that goes wide.
We got another substitution coming on here for U of M Dearborn.
This will be Kirsten Burke back in. Well-deserved rest here for Guadalupe Rodriguez. Blue Devils come into this one 3-4-1 on the season, 0-1 in the WAC. Michigan Dearborn at 1-2-1. As Elaine Nybor bounces one on over to Madison Bologna. Watched cautiously by Marley Kuzner. Wolverines unable to settle it down and produce any kind of a counterattack there. And Silverman. Losick did a nice job. She'll try to push it back for the Wolverines.
Now about 17 minutes through the first half, still no goal from either side. This is about the time where Lawrence Tech had their first goal of the game back in the first half. That was by Lauren Wozniak, assisted by Elaine Nybor. However, Michigan Dearborn's held their own for sure in this second half.
Trying to slip through. Here's Wozniak in search of a second. A second it is. And a third.
And as I say, they're holding their own. You know exactly what happens. Lauren Wozniak with her second of the game from Waldike, Michigan, a sophomore. Puts Lawrence Tech back on the board here in the second half to give them a 3-0 lead. And that might be the momentum changer they needed for this second half.
What a magical night for Lauren Wozniak. What a magical night for this Blue Devil team. In search of their first WAC victory on the season. Smiles on their faces now. Headman Andy Richards looking on and should be satisfied with what he's seen so far. Wozniak capitalizing in close for a second time tonight. Here's Mather, the other goal scorer for the Blue Devils, now working. Don't forget to catch head coach Andy Richards' post-game comments on your LTU Athletics social media channels. You'd think he will be happy after this one.
For sure.
Been a month of ties and losses. Not many goals, but 3 on the board under the lights tonight.
We spoke about it early in the first half. We knew that Lawrence Tech just wanted to get a feel for Dearborn and how they were going to play the rest of the game. And after a few minutes, they started to become more aggressive offensively. And it may have taken a little longer here in the second half for that to happen. However, it's starting to turn up now. The time possession definitely favoring the Blue Devils here in the second half.
3 shots on goal for Wozniak. She's produced 2 of the 3 LTU goals tonight. The most they've scored since the season opener on August 22nd versus Huntington. Caitlin Mather was also a goal scorer in that opening match versus Huntington. Wozniak had her first of the season against Shawnee State in the following game. Here's Randy Jeanette. And Chalker was fouled. That tug of the jersey might have been it that time.
Almost halfway done with this second half now. Just under 25 minutes remaining. As Lawrence Tech maintains that 3-0 lead, trying to make it 4.
For the first time in a while, the Blue Devil fans really comfortable sitting in their seats, and for the first time really in this newly renovated home fields, as Silverman tries to turn her way free. Marked tightly and well by Brianna Pfeiffer that time. And back on the Wolverines, hoping for some sort of a counterattack, hoping for some sort of a production that could possibly lead to a goal here. But it's been the reoccurring theme, just unable to really have it culminate into anything threatening. Unable to carry over the momentum that they were able to obviously build up in their first victory in program history. Looking around the WAC, Siena Heights off to such an outstanding start, 8-0. Madonna right behind them at 6-2. Aquinas 5-3, and Concordia at 2-1-1 on the season. LTU can look forward to a meeting with Concordia in a few days. That'll be in Ann Arbor on September 29th, a 4:30 p.m. start. And on October 3rd, Aquinas will be the first opponent of the new month. That'll be in Grand Rapids. Our next broadcast will be October 6th when Cleary comes to town for another night match. That'll be right here on LTSN. Thank you again for tuning in to the LTU Athletics YouTube and Facebook channel tonight. Or if you're rewatching the broadcast, every broadcast will stay up for you if you can't tune in during the scheduled time. All throughout the year here on LTSN. Women's volleyball coming up this weekend as our women return home. Last we checked, they were up 2-0 on the road in Livonia. Big WAC match tonight. Blue Devils looking to get back on track.
See if we can get anything online for that one. I'm definitely interested.
Yeah. Head coach Ed Rule's team got off to a really nice start in WAC play. Beat Lourdes for the first time ever.
Yeah, I was able to go to that match. They lost the first set by a score of 25-11. Able to come back in the next 3 sets of 25-23 apiece. One towards Lourdes. However, they ended up getting the last set 15-8. That was a thriller. I know, Jason, you were doing play-by-play for that one. You were excited. I was excited. The whole fans were excited. That was a great match.
They're a group that really has the ability to bounce back. Coming off a tough weekend, though. In Grand Rapids, came away with their first couple of WAC losses.
And I just found it looks like Madonna Lawrence Tech women's volleyball now in the 4th set. Madonna leads at 11-9. Madonna just took that 3rd set, 25-15.
Blue Devils up 2-1, down 11-9 in the 4th. hoping they can pull that one off.
Try to keep you updated as that comes along, as well as here.
Last we checked, our men's soccer team was absolutely dominating, similar to this women's soccer team tonight. They were up 5-0 the last we checked with about 36 minutes remaining in the second half. They're on the road against Michigan Dearborn tonight. Could be a good night for Blue Devil Athletics.
For sure, go for that three-peat.
Yeah.
Of course, football still undefeated. Baseball underway. They had a 4-game sweep this weekend.
It's been a pretty good last few days.
Hasn't it? You don't really notice until you put them all together.
Oh, yeah. Brianna Pfeiffer with her head up here, delivering down, but nobody in the vacant area. And with 20 minutes remaining on this second half clock, Blue Devils in command, in control, comfortable and sailing smooth for the moment.
You got to know the coach loves this. Hopefully they can maintain a 3-0 lead late into the game so he can dig into his bench, give them a little time, because you never know. They might have to be used in a few games. You never know. Injuries could happen or just anything. And you want to make sure those players are just as ready as these starters out on the field tonight.
Andy Richards really feels that his team has depth that they didn't have a season ago. And we've seen that, how often they can go to that bench of theirs and have players really come in, and you don't see much of a drop-off, if any. Plenty of newcomers, though. You wondered how they would be able to react to what was a tough month.
And they look like they're doing just fine right now.
This will be a fun one to celebrate in the locker room and get through these final 18 minutes.
If things hold out the way they're looking, Lawrence Tech is going to move to 1-1 in the WAC. That'll put them at 4-4-1 overall for a 500 record both ways. And you know they want to finish in that top 8 for the conference to play in that WAC championship tournament, because there's nothing better than postseason play no matter what sport you're in. Just the feeling you get. I know we're about to hit MLB postseason. I can't wait for that. Postseason play, it's where it's at, man.
The atmospheres that come along with it, the pressure that comes along with it.
For sure, the packed fans, packed stadium.
Yep.
Everything just multiplies. Intensity.
Those wild card games are coming up. I'm looking forward to it.
That's right.
No doubt about that.
There might even be a tiebreaker game. There's word that there could have been like a 4-way tie. So I'm excited for that too. See how that plays out. Another update on our Lawrence Tech women's volleyball team, now down 15-12 in the fourth set, up 2-1 overall. Keep you updated there with 17.5 minutes here to go on this beautiful, cool night here in Southfield, Michigan.
It's another high delivery that time.
And that field goal is good.
Yeah. It's like Jess Lodge and Vara Gramakova having a couple of really nice nights out in Livonia. 16 kills for Lodge, 13 for Gramakova. It's a fun volleyball team to watch, and you can catch them on LTSN this upcoming weekend. Friday and Saturday we'll have volleyball broadcasts for you. This has been a fun women's soccer team to watch tonight. 3 goals, 2 of them coming from Lauren Wozniak. Just a sophomore Wozniak, and the other goal scorer, Caitlin Mather, also just a sophomore. It's a team that has a promising future. Very young team. Randy Jeanette once again holding strong on the back line there.
You saw Jenna Rogers move up there past midfield. She's just itching to get one in, even a shot on goal at least.
Jeanette and the rest of the Back line for the Blue Devils. They were tested by the dynamic forwards of Madonna, and they appear to have come out ready to go after going up against such tough competition against Madonna. You never know how that competition, even in a tough loss, can really help you out going up against a team that can play to that level.
And I think the most important thing to take out of those kind of games, just the experience, understand what you just went through. You played against one of the top teams in the WAC. You got to take something out of it, winning or losing. I think that's one of the most important things in any game you play. It's just to take the experience out of it.
And as we kind of keep our discussion on the world of sports out there, you look at some of the teams that play tougher non-conference schedules in, say, a college basketball, a Kansas, a Duke, a Michigan State. Those teams are typically prepared as Wozniak comes in with, once again, intentions for what could have been a hat trick had she been able to settle that thing down.
Lawrence Tech now with 15 shots, 9 of them on goal, as compared to Michigan's 4 shots, 2 of them on goal. Even though Lawrence Tech's had 16 shots, they've only had 5 corners today. Not a ton, and none of those ended up in goals. All of them were on the breakaway.
Kirsten Burke attempting to make the run down the left-hand side there. That's been the reoccurring theme, the frustration that has persisted throughout this match for the Wolverines. Unable to settle those balls down when they've had the chances. Nicole Losick has had a couple of chances off the head of Losick that time. And Silverman, who's had a brilliant night, able to clear. She's played plenty of minutes tonight. They trust her to play those minutes in her first year as a Blue Devil, as McClay will chase after that. Now back to Silverman. Lofting a ball, and speaking of settling things down, Trapp does a very nice job to settle it down that time. Now a light touch over to Wozniak.
Got that pass through the legs. I know we were talking about the WAC standings earlier for women's soccer, and we have Siena Heights 8-0 overall, so we know they're definitely going to be a factor this coming season after last year where they won the WAC championship as a 3 seed, went 6-2-2 on the season.
Blue Devils had 9 shots on goal last time out against Madonna. And 7 rather, and they have 9 tonight against this Michigan Dearborn team. They've been a lot more potent on offense, more of a overall threat, as Madison Smith recently checked back in. She'll deliver a smooth pass over to Laura Silverman, unable to get the shot away. Barnes, nifty job to turn. Smith, Barnes. And the Wolverines clear. Losick. Silverman dispossessed Losick. McClay tried to get back in. Unable to slip behind the defensive Heidi Newman.
Looks like we're getting a goalie substitution here after a solid game for the Blue Devil keeper.
Renee Anderson come in for the Blue Devils. The freshman from Snoqualmie, Washington, has certainly traveled quite a few miles to get here. has appeared in one game so far this season. That was versus Spring Arbor, that rough match versus Spring Arbor as Silverman lets go a blast.
Yeah, Washington's not too far away. It's only like 20-minute drive.
It's a good duo moving forward, her and Almondo's. A couple of young goalkeepers on a young team under Andy Richards.
I think an important thing there is to help each other out, you know, use experience again from each game that they've both been in. Use it as motivation and help for each other. As Lawrence Tech tries another shot, however to no avail. It's all about getting the opportunities here in a game of possessions. And Lawrence Tech has been able to capitalize on 3 of them. Looking to add one more in these last 10 minutes of the second half. Back to the women's volleyball. Madonna now leads 23-18 in the 4th set. So barring a huge miracle comeback from this Lawrence Tech team in the 4th set, it's going to head to a deciding set to 15.
On the edge of our seats. Not for the soccer team, but for the volleyball team tonight. Hoping for a clean sweep from our Blue Devil teams. It's a pleasure to bring this one to you here on LTSN tonight as that one just sails over the crossbar. That was off the foot of Nybor, the powerful right foot of Elaine Nybor. Randy Jeanette, such a passionate player, trying to feed Madison Smith, just slipped through that time. Under 10 to play now here at the LTU Athletic Field. These fans watching with quiet satisfaction as their team leads 3-0. Lauren Wozniak twice. Caitlin Mather once.
And it looks like Lawrence Tech's got a few subs ready over on the sideline to finish this one off.
Andy Richards on the sideline. You wonder what his thoughts are. We'll be able to find out after the game.
And Madonna did take that 4th set, so that match will go to a deciding 5th.
This ball into the area. That one hopping off the bar. Madison Bologna. Almost a 4th for this Blue Devil team as Silverman will get a much-deserved breather. What a performance tonight from Laura Silverman. Demopoulos will make her way back in. Hannah Loveday into the match for the Wolverines. Here's Demopoulos. Jeanette still with energy. Will chase this one down. This team has really been buzzing around tonight. Barnes, Bologna, that shot off the crossbar. Nybor, she's been fun to watch as per usual.
Even though it's only 3-0 on the scoreboard, this is a game about making opportunities, and they've definitely had some opportunities. Even though more than half of them didn't go their way, this team should definitely be proud of what they're going to accomplish here tonight. And just know that opportunities are the key to success in this game. And they sure have created a lot.
Once again, feels like a team that can easily forget losses. I'll be eager to ask Coach Richards about that after this one. Get his thoughts. on tonight's performance and this team's state in general. Barnes, Bologna. Still Bologna.
And here they go, trying to create another opportunity late in the game. Trying to make it 4-0.
This team talks about the width, trying to create that width. We see Barnes down the wing there. Unable to whip a crosser in, but she will be able to deliver here. Demopoulos looking to turn, was free momentarily after a nice run there. Now to the edge of the area. There's a blast. That time coming from Everett's. McClay, rather. Sydney McClay scored the first goal of the season for LTU. Her first collegiate goal that came versus Huntington. Was in search of her third goal of the season there.
And here's Richards bringing out a couple more substitutions late in the game. 5 minutes left.
One of the senior captains and vocal leaders, Jordan Messing, makes her way back in as the corner trap went sprawling, flying into the goal.
Did.
Slow to get up there.
Even in a 3-0 game, 5 minutes left, you know these players love the game so much, they're just going to put everything they got into it the entire way.
Smith did well to get back defensively. Now Ayana Reed, this Blue Devil team is really, they've been running back all night. And now here's McClay, offside. The anticipation of where the ball is headed, that's been a key factor, certainly a positive one for this Blue Devil team. Nicole Losick. Demopoulos marking her tightly. And it's been reminiscent of the wall that this back line was in the beginning of the season. Once again on display there. Blue Devils will get back to 500 with this win tonight. They'll go to 4-4-1 on the season, 1-1 in WAC play before heading out on the road.
And this is just such a hard-fought game for the Blue Devils. You know they needed this win, and they wanted the win, and they got the win. Hopefully to bring them some momentum against the tough Concordia Cardinals this upcoming week.
Ayana Reed, brilliant. The starts to matches have been very important for this Blue Devil team this season, or at least it feels like they have. And they got off to a nice start before this evening turned into night. These fans have had their fair share of excitement. The most goals that they've seen on this field. Trapp galloping here, hoping to add one more. Taken down.
And that's one of those keys for the forwards there, just trying to get that little bit of yardage in between them and the defender. And as soon as you can do that, that's a great opportunity. She just wasn't able to get up there in time to create that space.
Yellow card issued to Mr. Dearborn, number 28.
So now the free kick from Sarah Trapp. Can she let one loose here? Whistles were blown prior to the free kick. And Trapp will have another opportunity. The yellow card was given to Claire Slamika. Trapp's blast is high. Time of that yellow card in the 87th minute for Slamika. As a bright, fluorescent, almost orange moon begins to hover over this LTU athletic field, creating a beautiful scene. A scene on the scoreboard at 3-0 in favor of Lawrence Tech is what this Blue Devil team will be most satisfied with tonight. Foul on LTU there. Didn't quite catch who that will be charged against, but it will be Jenna Rogers from about 40 yards out there as we approach the final minute.
And it looks like tonight's player of the game is going to be Lauren Wozniak. She had 2 goals, one in the 17th minute, the other in the 63rd minute. And unfortunately, she couldn't get that third one for that hat trick.
Almost had a chance to settle down a ball, but could have possibly been a second header.
Had 5 shots, 3 on goal. And unfortunately, just 2 of them were able to hit the back of the net. But I would take it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure she will too at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Final seconds wrapping up here.
And that is the final expiration buzzer. 3-0 will be the score edged into the history books. The second all-time meeting between these two teams for the second year in a row. The Blue Devils win it by a score of 3-0. Wozniak with 2, Mather with 1. A brilliant performance defensively. Michigan Dearborn never really able to produce any kind of a threat. It was an auspicious start and an excellent finish. Once again, 3-0 your final. It was a pleasure to have you. Blue Devils get back to 500 tonight. We'll have them back on LTSN October 6th when Cleary comes to town. Saying so long for our excellent crew. I'm Jason Ross Jr. alongside Chase Kaufman. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday night.